Hello and welcome to Torment, Tides of Numenera. So, we are still in the bloom in Membovira's courtyard. We bought a slave, Cody. We had many chances to let him go, but we didn't. Cody, you're sticking with us. We could make you steal, and not sure what else you're gonna do for us. Looks like I don't have the chance to let him go right now, and I can tell him to just go jump in a butt. But if you really wanted to do that, you might as well just stay in prison. Lone Dweller? So you gotta do none of that. My family needs me, but the guards won't let me through the gate. I need to get home.
Doing it now.
Hey, Membovira Tug, what the hell? The gates are shut for a reason. No visitors allowed.
Yes.
Alright, Braska? I need to get past. Look at me, I look ridiculous. You really wanna mess with me? This woman's face is lined with worry, though her thick build suggests that she could snap a spear in two without much effort. She continually glances toward the tunnel leading out of the courtyard, as though she hopes to see somebody. She runs a hand through her short, graying hair and mutters, "Gods! That's two missing. Where the hell are they?" She's thinking. Finally, she takes notice of you. The wrinkles on her face harden immediately. "What are you looking at?" She juts a thumb toward the massive gate behind her. "Nobody gets in the fortress without permission. I can already tell you don't have it, so keep walking." Damn, she's a smoker, right? I need to see the Membovira. What? What? I have no idea what direction that is a personality. I mean, that was just a that was just a statement. I suppose I was direct, but still. She places a casual hand on the hilt of a large blade. "Nobody sees the Membovira, not unless you got permission from someone who matters." You look worried about something. What's wrong? She gives you a wry grin. "Is that obvious?" You'll be worried too if you had patrols go missing and you were stuck on guard duty.
I'll remember that.
Listen, if you happen to see my missing soldiers, I appreciate whatever news you can give me. They'll be fitted like me. She indicates her studded leather armor. I'll go looking for them myself, but she gives a kind of a surrendered shrug, leaving her thought unfinished. Where should I start looking for your missing patrols?
I'll remember that.
Both of the patrols were tasked with collecting duties from the gangs. They're probably somewhere in the vast interior or one of the slums, but I haven't heard from them in some time. Given the nature of the bloom, they could literally be anywhere. They're probably dead. If I find your physical people, will you let me inside? He gives you a pitiful, pitying look. I don't decide who gets in, I just keep everyone else out. But if you find my man, I'll give you something for your trouble. What can you tell me about the Membovira? She's someone you don't want to cross, like me. What can you tell me about yourself? Mister, I don't want to cross you. Miss? My bad. Alright, I've heard enough about you from folks in the cliffs. I guess I can't get away from you without answering some questions, can I? I've been in the Membovira service for years, ever since she first came into power. She's not one to mess with. Let me tell you, she'll squash anyone in her way just to keep things tidy. She gets a faraway look in her eyes. At least that's how it used to be. Things are different now. The bloom's acting strange, and even some of the gangs are getting out of control. Never crossed the Membovira, but these days it seems there are plenty of others you shouldn't cross either. I used to think we kept the bloom safe for most anyway. I should know better. Nobody's safe in here. You said the bloom is acting strangely. It used to be that the bloom sort of favored us because we worked for the Membovira. You seemed to predict things it would do or new maws that would open, but now it's dangerous for us to go too deep, else the bloom itself might swallow some of us whole. That's if we can find our way in the first place. With the malls closing and shifting like they are, it's a wonder my patrols ever get back to the fortress at all. The gangs are out of control. Can you tell me something about them? This place looks like a hellhole. Why would anyone live here? No offense to your lovely home. Too many to tell, but I can list a few you're likely to find nearby. There's the Murderns down where the old slave block used to be. We've tried to run them out a few times, but they always seem to be more. Can't figure out why the bloom doesn't bother them. There's the mutants in Little Niliash. Let me point out that they named the place. Like they are trying to make a new Niliash right here. With them as the rulers. They didn't used to give us trouble, but they've gotten bolder since the bloom started acting up. I'm not sure which is worse at this point. And there's Antaglio and his bunch. They stay mostly in the slump. We are not so much as a gang as they are a bunch of freeloaders. But they cause enough trouble with the other gangs that they are worth mentioning. I have permission to see the Memorvira. Can we decide? Will that work? Buska barks a short laugh. No, you don't. Do you think I wouldn't have heard? He doesn't want to see you. How do you know that? You gotta ask her about that. You don't understand. I need to see the Memorvira. I'm afraid you don't understand. If you persist in your ignorance, I know of one sure way to get it into your head. She grips the hilt of her blade more tightly and sneers. Let me know if I'm not getting through to you. Farewell. Don't be like that. Cody, just be there. Don't steal stuff. Loom Dollar. Hey, you look like a little bit creepy. You. This is me. My place. Scrunch your room. What? My own
Fine.
hole. Bloom Dwellers. Several crude shanties are wedged into a corner, fashioned from scraps of wood, cloth, and metal. Whoever built them was apparently not concerned with safety. Well, that's the proper way to build shanties.
Done.
No? No, never mind that. Bloom Cultist? Will you talk to me? The world below the bloom is false. The world above is corrupt. The worlds it touches are illusion. Only the bloom is. Right. This wagon is laden with basic supplies from outside the bloom.
Done.
Why aren't anyone just looting that?
Move along.
Action!
What?
Here I
What is
come.
this? To vast interior. Okay, this place definitely has a character. Slave auction. We can sleep there.
Yes.
Hey, waits for prey. You look very welcoming. Metal construct stands before you, silent and still. Its armor is pitted and ancient, spiked with metal thorns. Instead of arms, the construct has long, killing blades, sharpened to a gleaming edge. What are you doing? Matkina whispers. I wouldn't talk to this monster. I've seen it kill some powerful people and some powerful, not people too. I don't like the way it looks at me either. Well, Matkina is scared. You sense a mind inside the machine. It is a mind so alien that although you can hear it, you cannot understand its thoughts. When you have, like, blades for hands, you are a... well, you probably need some advice. Just saying. Who are you? The construct stirs and the voice emanates from somewhere in its depths as a hollow, empty sound, as if it speaks from a vast cavern underground. I am soldier, but predator. My names are as numerous as the wars in which I have fought. But those wars are finished now, and I have left my names behind. Surely you can remember some of your names. Some. I remember all my names. Exanarch Sirius 14, Gashnero Mark 10. When I was bodyguard to Oshuleklo, he called me his barber of flesh and made me a boogeyman, feared and hated in every nation he conquered. The construct says nothing after that, but he hisses and whirls inside its armor and make a great deal of noise for what seems a long time. Who created you? I do not know, nor have I ever known. They culled all the records of themselves from our minds. I only remember those for whom I fought, and there have been many such masters over many long millennia of service. For a time, I believe my siblings and I slept. I do not know for how long. Then we were awakened by masters, the Tabat. We fought them. We fought for them until they were no more. Alright. You fought for the Tabat? What do you remember about them? Much. They ruled this land as warlords before the building of Sagas Cliffs. They were slaves to an edifice known as the Underspire, yet they were its masters as well. I do not know where they came from or who they were before they rose to power, but those things happened before they awakened me. I remember this too. They held single combat as the highest virtue, revealing the quality of one's soul. They believed that we had powerful souls, my siblings and I, for none of them could defeat us alone. They fought on two-legged beasts, brandishing weapons of another age, unearthed from great hoards beneath the ground. That is also where they found me, and my siblings. They awakened us, spoke the proper words, so we killed on their command. What happened to the Tabat? The construct's blade arms twitch convulsively. A vast explosion buried the Underspire and their city, and most of my siblings as well. The remaining Tabat were hunted and slain by those they had ruled and enslaved, and I was left alone, save for a few of my kind. I have other questions. What are you doing there? What are you doing here? Waiting. The world is hollow and cold. For those who are strong and feared, for predators who walk the bloom, they come here, at times, to challenge me. If I prove myself to a predator above all others, I believe that the bloom tongues will catch my scent. The clicks and hisses from inside the construct's armor suddenly go quiet. I wish to be devoured by the bloom. Have you not seen those who have passed through the gullet of the bloom? Every trace of who they were has been stripped from them. They are freed from the trappings of memory and self, reborn. Why do you crave rebirth? How many years have you lived? Only a few, judging by the firmness of your flesh. In that time, what horrors have you witnessed, or perhaps perpetrated? Do they slip into your mind in unguarded moments? Perhaps they do. Whatever horrors you have seen, multiply them by 1,000, 100,000, across a waste, grinding millennium of wars. Now imagine that you cannot forget, cannot even distract yourself with other memories. Do you know what I remember? Only those things that would make me a better killer. Every severed limb, every gout of heart's blood, every cruel execution before a cheering crowd. All else is lost, for that is how my creators fashioned my brain. That is why I crave rebirth and forgetfulness. Killing powerful predators makes you more appetizing to the blue. So I believe. The construct is silent for a moment, as if considering. I have observed the patterns of its hunger over many feeding cycles. Always it is those who prey on others who draw the attention of the bloom tongues. The greater the predator, the more powerful their victims, the more the bloom desires them. The construct's voice becomes less hollow, high-pitched and more grating. I have killed many, so many. I have torn man and beast asunder, left their bones and entrails to putrefy as an offering to the blue tongues, and still they will not devour me. Why does it wait? I cannot know. You claim to be troubled by the violent things you have seen and done, but you're a killing machine. Why should those things bother you? A long moment passes before the construct speaks. I have pondered that question for all the years since I awoke in your world, and also during the long aeons of my sleep. For centuries I felt no such revulsion at the memories of my past, but over time the horror grew in my mind and in the minds of all my brethren. The construct pauses again, as if considering its next words. I have come to believe that our creators intended this. Perhaps they understood the terrors we could visit upon the world, and this was their way of ensuring that we would not endure forever. If our foes did not destroy us, then we would be driven to destroy ourselves. Well, it's a long time. But it's not entirely baseless. Still, I mean, like, you probably wouldn't want that after like millennia. Like, okay, I had enough killing. I'm about to take a nap. I haven't met anyone who's been eaten by the bloom and lived. Walk the innards of this city, monster, for long enough and you will meet them. A series of lights flash in quick succession on one side of the construct's faceplate. Even now, I can taste the transdimensional footfalls of one such man. You may find him in the vast interior space beyond the arterial opening there. The construct gestures with one bladed arm to its right. Once he possessed a name that was well known in this place before it was stolen by another. Now he walks alone, forgotten, and without fear. Some of the questions? What are all these bones and armor on the ground? That trios of beasts and men. It is all that remains of those who sought to devast me. What do you know about Dracogan? He's a predator of sorts, but subtler than most. I have observed him, as one hunter watches another from afar, but I cannot fathom what he truly wants. What he seems is not all that he is. Why don't you challenge Dracogan to combat? The construct's head turns in Dracogan's direction, even though the great-skinned man is not actually visible from here, obscured as he is by the crash katina. You sense that the construct's eyes can see him plainly. For a long moment you hear a series of whirring and humming sounds from inside the construct's head, as if the creature is considering your words. Then at long last it turns its head back to you. No, even I would not dare. The words are firm, with a note of finality. Did you say Dracogan isn't all that he seems? Maybe Dracogan is the Memovira. How about that? No, I said that what he seems is not all that he is. Alright. Oh, that's not what I wanted to press. I want to challenge you to combat. I want you to kill me. Can we just challenge him to combat? Yes, Artis says. No! Yes! Artis says, hopping from foot to foot. We do! You're challenged! A fight scene in the hero will take many wounds and survive, or not. The construct's blade arm suddenly clench, bearing into a new configuration with such speed that your eyes cannot follow. A moment ago they seemed sleek and clinical, like a Chirurgeon's well-honed knife. Now they are jagged and cruel. Why would you ask this? Its voice is suddenly different, higher pitched and grating, like the scrape of a hacksaw across a rough metal surface. Because you're a killer. As long as you're here, you're going to keep killing for your own selfish ends. I'll kill those who prey upon others of their kind. If you were so concerned with saving lives, you would not hinder me. No, I will not fight you. Faster than your eyes can follow, the blade arms swing back to their sleek, original shape, and the voice becomes hollow once more. In the eyes of the bloom, you are no great predator. No purpose would be served by your death. Is it serious? Attis looks back and forth between you and the monstruct. All those spikes and blades and blood making, flesh cutting things, and it doesn't want to fight? Fight it anyway! Leave me to my watch and do not challenge me again. As you wish, farewell. Series of lights flash beneath the construct's faceplate, but it makes no audible reply. Did we explore all the conversation options? No. I want you to kill me. No, never mind that. Never mind that. Lone Dweller. He said there's a guy next to on his right, but there's no guy on his right that is named. Skydie. Anine.
Go.
Didn't I hear about Anise already? Queen is the... Yeah. So, what?
Why not?
Let's go there. Parson Flint. Let's just go here. So, there's nothing here. Oh, they checked that one out. There's nothing here. Oh, maybe there is something here. Beautiful landing? So there it is. Massive vehicle appears to have crashed through the nearby wall. Bloom flesh has resealed the hole as it beginning to grow across the vehicle's surface. You recognize the vehicle as a Catena, a hyper-dimensional transport from prior worlds. So this is what Wayne crashed with. These tents look and smell like nests of vermin. They are littered with moldy blankets and scraps of rotting food. So what is this?
Now.
Panel has fallen away from the side of the crashed Catena, exposing a compartment that is filled with machinery. Waves of energy radiate from it like heat haze. Examine the compartment. Most of the machinery in the compartment is smashed and unrecognizable, hanging by wires and strips of torn synth. In the open spaces between the machines, tiny vortices of light and energy occasionally spring into being, obliterate everything they happen to touch, and then vanish again. Allegren touches your arm and says urgently, "Don't touch anything!" Pushes you aside and leans his face in. "Look, you see those vortices? They are still spawning. We might be able to salvage the power source." He peers more closely. "Not from here, though. Maybe at the back end of this Catena, if you can find it." As your eyes grow accustomed to the weird, blurry haze, you notice a synth canister near the back of the compartment. It appears to be intact. If you stretch out your arm, you might be able to reach it, but if a vortex opens at the wrong time, you could be seriously hurt. Do it! Well, let's make him do it. His speed is worthless. You reach into the compartment, fingers scrabbling at the smooth scent of the canister, trying to work it loose. A tiny vortex flares to life near your arm, but you snatch it anyway, and the vortex misses you by a few centimeters. With a final twist, you pull the canister free. The canister is icy cold to the touch. On one end, you find the release valve. If you open it all the way, the coolant could be sprayed out, freezing anything it touches. It just does a lot of chemical damage. And stuns. That's not so bad. Alright, we can work with that. So let's go there. Looks like Skydie is possibly the only... So this is the Crash Catena. And there's nowhere else we could go but the vast interior. Ah, I was thirsty anyway. This pool is filled with yellowish water that falls from above. Surrounding Bloom flesh is wet with hand and footprints, suggesting that it is a common place for Bloom dwellers to wash and drink. I don't plan to be here long enough to find that out. Look into the pool. Perception. The pool extends downward like the circular shaft of a well. If it has a bottom, you can see it from here. In the depths of the pool, your sharp eyes catch sight of a long, worm-like shape. It appears to be caught on a projection of Bloom flesh, and it's wriggling helplessly about. Dive into the pool and try to retrieve the wriggling object. That's crazy. Let's do it. 95%? Let's do it. As cast up, you're gonna do everything. You plunge into the murky fluid. As you dive deeper, you see that the shaft opens into a much larger cavity. At the edge of the larger space, you reach the wriggling shape you saw from above and struggle to untangle it from a bony knot of bloom flesh. Finally, it slips free, and you swim for the surface, reaching the top just before you run out of air. So you can use movement to get armor. And it gives you a... for an entire crisis, you get 6 armor. That's nice. In the light of the courtyard, you see that the wriggling object is some sort of bloated worm. Its skin continually shifting from one material to another. Silvery metal to pliable sin to leathery scales to other materials that you can't identify. It seems to be drawn to your exposed flesh, and it would likely fasten itself to your armored leg if you allowed it to do so. And we're not gonna drink. I'm not too thirsty. I'm gonna change my mind. We can just give this to Artis. I don't know. Let's get rid of that. Yeah. Warding worm. It's most likely Artis who's gonna use that. So, Skydeep.
Yes.
Let's talk. A pale, heavy-set merchant woman stands by, agitated and in. Her eyes seem to have trouble focusing on you, and when they do, she drops them. Her hands nervously adjusting the scarf around her neck. Need help? Can't think. I must... I'm Skydeep. You here to trade? Why are you wearing that heavy scarf? Her eyes meet yours. For a moment you almost think there's a pleading quality to them. Then they blaze with fury. That's none of your business! Leave it be or just leave! Whoa! As she speaks, she fiddles with her scarf again, and you notice splotches of blood on it. Scarf? I forgot. I put it on the hide. To hide. Shh! No, nothing. It hides nothing. Pull aside the scarf. Persuasion. Try to see under her scarf. You have a little something on your scarf, right under your chin. You know? Just saying. You know? I'm like, you have it. I do? Where? The woman pulls the scarf from her neck to look at it, revealing jagged, still bleeding teeth marks on her throat. She sees you staring at them and realizes she's been duped. Dirty trickster! She snarls as she pulls the scarf tight again. Go try your games on someone else. Please, just leave us alone. Was it the Anine? Hopefully it was the Anine. She glances at her Anine, eyes wide like a child with guilty conscience. Just leave us alone. She hisses, waving you away. No, not sure. You realize the marks on her neck match the blunt teeth of a large herbivore, like her Anine. You're getting... As you approach, Skydeep's eyes widen in fear, darting momentarily toward her Anine. I told you to leave me be. I'm not selling you anything. You bastard. I need... for a second I thought the Anine said to me that go away. A large and agitated beast looms over you. It's an Anine, a beast of burden. These creatures are normally docile, but this one bares its teeth and snaps at you as soon as you draw near. Breaks the air with stubby claws. Wow, look at those hands. Oh my. Examine the Anine. Look! Cries Aratis. The beast has blood on its mouth, and its mistress has blood on her neck. That means... Aratis' eyes widens. Fall, Anine! Feeding on your mistress like some feeding thing! Aratis strides forward, rolling up his sleeve and balling his fist. I'll handle this! Wait, Artis, punching it might not be the best option. Oh, come on, I want him to punch it. No, I couldn't stop it in time. He punched it. That's just too good. I'm gonna let you punch it. Wow, let Artis punch the Anil. A broad smile spreads across Artis' face as he springs toward the Anil. What? No, no, no. Are we gonna have a full-on fight? Please. What? With a single punch, Artis knocks out the Anil. There! Problem solved! The moment the Anil loses consciousness, the merchant blinks and shakes her head as if coming out of a nightmare. She looks at Artis. What? Thank you! No. Thank you. I don't know what was wrong with me. The bloom must have got in my head and changed my Anil too. I have to get rid of the beast before it wakes. Wow! Really? I love it! Skadi smiles warm as you approach. Hello again, my friend. What can I do for you? Punching the Anil was the right call. I'm not one for... Well, whatever. I love that. Can you tell me about the bloom? How did the bloom get in your head? I don't know. The bloom does strange things to you if you stay here long enough. My Anil and I drank water from the well. That might have something to do with it. I won't be drinking anything else that comes out of the bloom. That's for sure. Pure as cliffs, he said. Damn, that Gristler. Can you tell me about the bloom? I travel through here a lot, but maybe not after this. Too dangerous. No matter what the Memovira's guards say about her keeping it safe. Good chance for profit though. Bloom folk need outside goods, and you can find unique things here. Things from other places. Still, once bitten, twice shy. If you know what I mean. I'm going as soon as I sell the last of my stock. What do you know about the Memovira? She nods her head at the imposing gates across the courtyard. They say she runs this place from that fortress over there. I've never seen her though. Just her thugs. Almost like she doesn't dare come out. Or doesn't exist, or she is another person. Let me see what you got. Aw, can we get something good? Maybe I should just come back. Check out properly. This is a bit of a fuss, just checking it out. Alright, never mind that. Alright, looks like we kind of figured out this whole place. There's nothing else over here. Canted? Maybe we can talk to the Canted? Probably not, though.
Alright.
Maybe we ought to talk with him. He just said he wants a slave. Maybe we can sell our slave to him. How about that? He might like that. Yeah, that is really an interesting option. Whoa, what is this? Alright, let's just go back and try to sell a slave to it.
Now.
The vast interior? That looks so dark and unwelcoming, I cannot even begin to describe how much I'm not looking forward to it. Right, I'm looking forward to it because it looks awesome, but still, it's not really a place I would go into tonight. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's an obelisk here that we failed to touch.
You won't notice I'm gone.
Decanted? Hey, so do you want a cool slave? The creature's voice remains flat and expressionless. Greetings! I purchased Cody, the young man in the pit. I'll sell him to you.
I'll remember that.
The construct bows to you. Gratitude and appreciation. Prepare to pay 360 shins upon delivery of the boy to custody. Agents will assure the boy's safe delivery to clients as evidence of our intention to pay. It opens a hidden compartment in its side to reveal a neat stack of shins. Prepare the boy for transport as soon as possible, eager to leave this place. Wayne told me that you butchered your recruits, is that true? The decanted emits a ragged sigh from its grill. Everywhere we travel, these slanders follow. Our subjects are treated well. We gain nothing by abusing their bodies. Repeat, we treat them well. When the moment comes for the replacement, we ensure that our specimens feel nothing. We sedate them during a moment of happiness and using advanced techniques, of which any Chirgun would be proud, remove the extraneous head so that our clients might use the body into which we have invested so much. It's no worse than feeding slaves to mouths, as it's the practice here. In fact, it is more humane. You're still ending their lives. Leave the bloom now before I destroy you.
Making a note.
The smooth plating of its armor clanks against itself as it flinches at your threat. We are peaceful beings. It squaws. Someday you will. Pathetic. Accept the truth of what we say. We will not attempt to persuade you now. No destruction is necessary. We assure you of our peaceability. Farewell. It backs away, holding its hands out in a universal symbol of surrender. Construct, wow, strikes its hand across the front of its armor, and a row of buttons extrudes from its synth shell. Its fingers dance rapidly upon these buttons, and you are momentarily blinded by the flash of light. When you can see again, it is gone, leaving no trace of its presence. I was just kidding about Cody. We would never sell you, okay? Cody, you're a great guy, okay? I want you to steal, no.
Fine.
What about this obelisk? A metal pylon. My bad. So polished that it might be crystal. Has been thrust into the bloom flesh at the junction of two armored neural axons. Whether the bulbous protrusion around it is an effect of this invasion or whether it was the reason of the insertion in the first place, it is impossible to judge. Like so much of the bloom, it oozes both mystery and mucus. Examine the pylon. The pylon purpose is unclear, and the polished metal reveals no further clues. You notice, however, that there is a deep sulcus in the bloom flesh where it meets the pylon. Talk filling the crevice makes it impossible to tell what. If anything, is inside. Reach it, no. Study the bloom flesh nodule and the neural sheets running outward from it. More natural. Judging from the ancillary organs that protrude from the nodule, it seems to be the organic equivalent of a regional control center. Not a true brain, but something more than a mere cluster of nerves. It is unclear whether it's part of some larger mind or a near sentient organism of its own. Reach into the sulcus. Your forearm deep in warm, mucousy talk when your fingers brush against something with a hard edge. Obviously not part of the bloom flesh, but also distinct from the pylon. Unfortunately, your touch has dislodged it, and it begins sinking deeper into the crevice. Quick fingers it. Can anyone do this? I can do it with 90%. Wow, she's 100% without effort. Okay. You plunge deeper and catch hold of the metal object. With relief, you pull your arm and recover its cipher out of the mucousy sulcus. This just does a lot of damage. No, never mind that. Alright, looks like that's it.
Now.
We just gotta go. Gotta do it now. Wow, that armor is just ridiculous. I'm just asking to get killed. Like, body colored.
Of course.
Like, skin tight suit. With like bulbs on it. The corpse of an insect of a gigantic proportions lies here. On closer inspection you see that it appears to be in the midst of getting absorbed into the wall. That's nice. But what about this? The vast interior.
All right.
To Diva Niliesh. To the trade post. I see. Caravan
Yes.
guard. And Ian? Do you want to get punched? Oh, it
Yes.
doesn't do anything.
Now.
Caravan guard. The lads and I just guard the wagon. Our employers are those two merchants over there.
Yes.
Oh, I see. So Grizzler. Varyalan. Oh, we can talk with them? Two merchants turn toward you. One is a heavy-set human with a large head and a wide, bony face. The other is a particularly thin and sickly-looking Varyalan. Its head crest is decorated with symbols that are unknown to you. Both are dressed in rich clothing. I hope you weren't planning to visit Extension Field, friend. He says the human, whose face is set in permanent frown. The only road was in there. He gestures toward the massive jaw that has closed over the far of the platform. What happened here? As we approach, the entrance grows steep, says the emaciated Varyalan. It speaks with a strange, halting accent as if the truth is not its native tongue. The teeth got big and turn into a great jaw. Down it comes, with swift and cruel. All this happened fast in time. It takes to walk 5 steps. The human grimaces. Bloom's good for 3 things. Friends, farting up smoke to burn your eyes, pissing fall water for us to drink, and eating whoever and whatever it likes. I hate this place. Too bad it's a good road to make some shins, or was anyway. You were headed for the trade post? What else? The Ascension has its own perils, but it's blessed with a bounty of useful things, unlike this place. Try getting anyone to pay for a hunk of quivering bloom flesh. Merchant scowls and spits. We trade in crystals from Ascension Place. Good business there. Bad business here. The Varyalan attempts to scowl and spit in the same manner as its friend, but it only manages to spray the front of its garment with a bluish fluid from its nose slits. Okay. So, what are you going to do now? The gristle man asks us to go with him into the depths of the bloom, seek out other mouths, jaws, maws that lead to trade post. They are not stupid, we say no. The Varyalan twists its face into a deep frown in a remarkable imitation of its companion. Clearly it has been practicing. Better to search for another way than stay here and do nothing. The merchant snorts. Better for you, perhaps. If you're young and poor and eager to die, we are none of those things. The only reason I came here was because the route was laid out for us. I'm not exploring. I'm trying to get to Extension. What can you tell me about it? A word made of crystal like this. Varyalan plucks a finger-sized gemstone from its pocket. It seems to quiver of its own accord as if it's alive. All things in Ascension made of crystal, living creatures too. It is a cold and dark place. The sun is too small in the sky. We don't venture far from the gate, as the human. Nobody does. They're smart. Do you have anything to trade? Not yet. We offer salts and dyes and alchemical powders to our contract in Ascension. Whatever it is, absorbs what it likes and gives us crystalline artifacts in return. If you ever manage to get there, then I might have something to trade. You could try that flesh merchant on the next platform. Thirsty's companion. What's his name again? Sunderman. His name is Sunderman. The Varyalan bobs its head each time it speaks to the name. 2 men he is, but also 1. Are you sure you have nothing to trade? Shakes his head, He shakes his ponderous head. If we ever reach Ascension, we'll have something of value to sell. Crystalline Numenera of all shapes and sizes, never the same things twice. Alright, farewell. Merchants. Grizzler, what the hell? As you approach, you see two well-dressed merchants in heated conversation with a wiry man who is wearing an assortment of odd-looking leathers and hides. Upon seeing you, the wiry fellow shoos the merchants away and turns in your direction. Instead of feet, you notice that he has two hand-like appendages, fashioned from metal and synth. Indeed, both of his legs have been replaced by these artificial arms that appear remarkably flexible. Right?
Looking for the trading post?
The wiry man flashes a lopsided grin and jabs a thumb at the giant, toothy jaw behind him.
I used to be there, used to be in there, till the bloom got hungry and ate it. At least I think that was what happened. Never can tell with this big old sack of guts we came home.
Then how am I supposed to get to Extension? One of the merchants glares at the wiry fellow.
That's just what I were asking him. Only way to get to Ascension Gate, that's through the trade post, just like I said.
The wiry man squints at the merchant, as if daring him to push a little further. Surprisingly, the merchant looks away, as if the fight going out of him. Perception, you think you catch a glimpse of fear in the merchant's eyes, but you can't be sure. All this interest in the Essential lately, could the bloom have foreseen something? The wiry man turns back to you.
Knowing the bloom like I do, I bet that the trade post is still around here somewhere. You might find a mall that will take you there if you look hard enough. The bloom never closes off a path for long, but finding it again, that's a whole different story.
I'll remember that.
Name's Gisler, by the way. Bloom guide, explorer, and scout. 3 times eaten by the bloom and still intact. Well, mostly.
He wiggles the artificial fingers on one of his feet.
What?
3 times eaten by the bloom? Where would I go to look for a maw? Grizzler purses his lips. I could answer that question easy enough. I'll tell you just where to find them, and where they lead, and what to feed them. But something got the bloom all riled up, and she's opening and closing maws however she likes. He shakes his head disapprovingly, as if talking about his own disobedient child. Change is coming, I can smell it, figuratively anyway. So, if I was you, I've tried the darkest corners of this gut bag I could find. Dank and nasty places. There's where maws like to rip themselves into being. The slums are a good place to start. Little Niliash, Churgan slump, all little hoes like that. Can you tell me about a little more about the slums? Gisela lets out a long puff of air, and you're fairly certain that his breath is the same color as the fetid smoke emitted by the bloom itself. Certainly it smells near as bad.
Well now,
he says, rocking back on the heels of his hand-feet.
From where we are right here, you can find your way to 3 of them. Little Niliash, where all the funny-looking mutants live. Churgan Slump, where all the folk to get their bodies hacked or healed. And old Slave Block. He makes a sour face. Folk don't go there at all, unless they are murderers, but murders don't really count as folk.
Right. Tell me about little Niliash. She sort of nods.
First of all, it ain't so little.
I guess it's bigger than the other slums by half. It used to be called something else before the mutants moved in, but nobody remembers the old name. See, the mutants got here through a maw. They used to come and go as they pleased, trading goods from here and there, making all manners of shins. Somebody should have warned them that maws are ordinary beasts, and they never do the same thing for long. Sure enough, one day it up and closed, and all mutants on this side got trapped in the bloom. Been stuck here ever since. But the thing about little Niliash, folk on the outside of the bloom like to pitch their rubbish in here, straight into the nearest tube or a spincher. But no matter where they dump their trash, it all finds its way to little Niliash. Don't know how or why. Guess that's just where the Doom likes to keep it. He smiles fondly, and again you get the sense that he's talking about a much beloved child.
Oh my. What do you know about the Churgan slump? Grizzler brightens. That's where I got fitted with these. He taps the metal and the synth arms that double as his legs. Couple of nice fellas helped me out when the bloom ate my legs. They were a little odd, I admit, and lacking in the social graces, kept calling me by a number rather than my name. The bloom bless those doctors, even if they enjoyed their work a little too much. Nowadays, the slump is under the protection of a bunch of soldier types, deserters I hear, from some battle that never ends. Grizzler shakes his head. Imagine that, fighting in an endless battle. Should have thought it through before they sign up. That's what I say. I want to hear about the old slave block. Used to be a prison for slaves, back in the days of Chilla the Great. They carved it out of the bloom flesh with saws that spat solid light and blades that weren't all there. Folks say that that's where Chilla was chained up, and that's where her legend was born. Wouldn't know it anymore. It's all feathers and filth in there now. Even since the Murdens moved in, they are a pack of dirty thieves, and if you get too close to one of them, your thoughts get all staticky. Makes it hard to do just about anything. I hear it's because they talk to each other with their minds, but I guess can do it quiet and polite. Alright, I have other questions. I need to know more about the moths and how they work. Grizzler squints at you for a moment as if trying to decide if he trusts you or not. Then he nods. Mouse door, you see? A living door. It's a connection between somewhere in the bloom and another place. That other place might be right around the corner, or it might be in a whole different world. Maybe in a whole different time. It doesn't matter to the bloom. Need to know? What is he doing here? And does the Memovir know about him? Only one rule with the moths. You feed them what they want, and they open. Trouble is, every moth wants something different. Might be an emotion or a color, or the blood of one particular fella, or if you're lucky that day, might be your 2 legs. Moths are stubborn, every one of them. Until you give them what they want, they'll stay shut. He lowers his voice. Unless you got a way to cut them open. Takes a special kind of weapon to do that. But the bloom don't like it one bit. She'll remember a fella who cuts open her maws. And things won't go easy for that fella around here. You said the bloom was acting strangely. Do you know why? She's hungry for something or someone. I can hear it in her voices. Just like when a maw wants to eat somebody. Only this time, it's the whole bloom. This sort of thing used to scare me. It did. Probably still should. I wonder if the Memovira knows who the bloom wants to eat. I bet she does. Why is that wagon just standing here? You better ask these 2 fellas here. He nods at the Valdez merchants. See, they were supposed to be heading for extension by the way of the old trade post, but then the bloom decided to eat the trade post, so now they're stuck. I keep telling them to look on the bright side, at least they weren't inside the trade post when it got eaten, but they won't hear it. I've seen a couple of fellas so determined to be miserable. Grizzler squints suspiciously at the 2 merchants. Anyway, until they decide what to do next, we are staying put. Since they are paying my wage, I'll do what they tell me. At least until something better comes along or someone else demands my time. I have some questions about you. Alright, what questions would those be? You called yourself a bloom guide? That's right. Gisela flashes his crooked grin. Ain't nobody around here who knows the bloom as well as old Grizzler. I hire myself out to fellas like these. He nods toward the 2 merchants who are standing nearby. And get them where they need to go. Of course, I'm happy to give advice for free. Can't say I ever got tired of talking about the bloom. About anything, really. Did you say you were eaten by the bloom 3 times? Yep. Grizzler beams, obviously proud of his achievement. First time the bloom ate me, she took my senses of smell and taste. That's fine. I told myself I could eat all them foul-tasting vegetables that folks always said were so good for me. Second time the bloom took my ability to feel fear. What I've ever need that for? Just kept me from doing things that would make for good stories later. Third time, the bloom took my legs. She was kind enough to cauterize the stumps, though, that I wouldn't bleed to death. Then I met a couple of fellas over in the slump, and they fitted me up with these. Grizzler slaps the thin arms and that are now serving as legs. He leans forward and lowers his voice. Truth is, I'm faster and nimbler than I ever was. But I don't like to tell too many people, or they'll all be clamoring to swap their legs for a pair of arms. Nice. Why do you refer to the bloom as a she? Do I? Grizzler's face reddens. Must be because I'm always hearing her voice, like a whispery, cheery sound. Tells me when she's hungry or full, happy or cross. It helps to know what sort of thing when I'm guiding folks through her guts. You seem rather nonchalant about this place. Well, he told me that that the bloom took his fear. Well, I've been here a long time, and the bloom ate my sense of fear, so there's that too. I like to think she's looking out for me. Sure, she takes a little part of me now and then, but life does that to all of us, don't it? Well, maybe. Not so literally, but you know what I mean. Look at Grizzler's clothes. His garments are rough, but reasonably well made. Though the material is strange to you. It seems to be a type of leather, but it's thicker and heavier than any leather you've seen. And the colors are scabrous and ugly. Grizzler catches you looking and he nods. Tan bloom flesh. Tough but strong. All Sunderman made these. He waves a hand toward one of the walkways that lead off into the vast interior. Nice. Other questions? No, I think we asked everything. Farewell. Ever need advice about the bloom? Come and find me again. Okay. But there's a good time to take a break, so
It's a plan.
Yep. Yeah, wait. This is blocked off. Anyway, this is a good time to take a break, so hope you guys had fun. Tell me if you did and see you around, and have a good one.